Welcome to the Institute for Australian and Chinese Arts and Culture at Western Sydney University. I'm Professor Jing Han, the director of the Institute. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that we are on our Parramatta South campus, which is on the country of the Darug people of the Darug Nation, and acknowledge their ancestors who have been the traditional owners of their country for thousands of years. We also want to pay our respect to the First Nations elders of the countries we are all sitting on today, past, present, and emerging. We are very excited to launch our 2023 new lecture series, IAC Art Talks. IAC Art Talks aims to explore and to present traditions and the forms of a Chinese art and the influence of a Chinese art on various new or renewed forms and styles for art in Australian setting. There will be 9 lectures in the first series, covering a wide and a very diverse range of topics by invited artists, art experts, curators, and academics. Our adjunct fellow, Sally Bowman, has been a great help in setting up this series. And we are very pleased to inform that all our invited speakers have accepted the invitation, and they each will cover a unique and a very interesting area. However, we will keep them close to our chest and will not reveal who they are until when their talks come up. We have faithfully followed the national security procedures to ensure that the speakers themselves don't even know who other speakers are until we lift the veil. For this inaugural lecture, we are thrilled to have Dr. Guan Wei, an icon of Chinese Australian contemporary art, an internationally renowned artist, and of course, most importantly, adjunct fellow of this institute. Dr. Guan Wei has had so many achievements that he himself found it a bit daunting to list. In 2021, when the Western Sydney University considered awarding Guan Wei with the honorary doctorate in creative arts, I was tasked with compiling his achievements. I ended up with several pages and many different lists. When I showed them to Guan Wei, trying to get him to tell me which was which, he had a look and said, 有点乱. Yes, a bit messy. So suffice to say that Dr. Guan Wei has held over 70 solo exhibitions in Australia, China, and internationally. Today, we are privileged to have him to share with us his reflections on his artistic journey as a migrant artist with the title Identity, Position, and Presence. After his talk, we will have a Q&A session. So during the talk, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the screen, and I will collect them for Dr. Guan Wei to respond after his talk. Now, please welcome the one and only Dr. Guan Wei to give this inaugural speech. Hello, Guan Wei, you can start now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Professor Jing Han. I'm very pleased to have the chance here to talking the history about Australian art and also myself in this Australia's developed. Yeah, I came to the Australian in the early 1990s when the Australian was actively engaging with the country in Asia. Australia wanted to play in the influential roles in the political, economy, art and culture and support in Asia. In particular, in the art, the Queensland Art Gallery launched the first Asia Pacific Triennial of contemporary art. They called APT1 in the September 1993. I was very lucky, in the first APT, they invited many like a director, curator, and artists who came to the Brisbane as the conference. Give some the ideas, advice, and opinions. You're talking how can build up for these APTs, and I was one invited in there. And in the second Asia Pacific Triennial, I was lucky. I became the team, for curator team, folks for the China's. I with the Claire Robert together, we went to the China to choose the Chinese artists. And finally, I think we've been to the Shanghai, Beijing, and Hangzhou. We chose 6 artists, including like Zhang Peili, Wang Luyan, Wang Jianwei, and Chen Yanyin. They have very strong team of the Chinese contemporary art showing there. In the third ABT, I was the artist, show my work in there. Later on you can look my work in there. This cover is the third Asia Pacific Triennials. This cover is I was designed for this cover. I planned this cover for this APTs. That's I has a very involved with the Asia Pacific Triennials. And started this Asia Pacific Triennials, and I began my searching for the identity, position, and presence. Also in early 90s, the Australian government felt that Australia should stop being preoccupied with the West, but reposition the country of Asia. The government focused on the developing close relationship with the geography neighbors. Then Prime Minister of Australia, Paul Keating, I remember the Paul Keating that time is a very strong power Prime Minister, called Australian became the Republic. And his government increased Australian culture and economy ties with Asia. He believed in Australian integration into Asia and was convinced that Australia should position itself in the Asia, which was encouraged and supported by the living economy of the Asia. I remember another time, in the 1990s. It's a strong relationship, for economy with Asia. Firstly with Japan, import, export, and then later on is China and Indonesia, Indonesia. That time is Asia is very close to Australians. For myself, I received of my own artistic creation during the period showing that theme. I think in the 1990s, I has 4 different themes. In the earlier, interesting about the Eastern culture and the Western culture, to mix. Because I feel Australia, is a very special positions, between the big 2 cultures, Western and East. Australia just in the middle, and I think I should do some 2 culture mixings. I created my works like the Living Statement and Tangible Baby series. The Great War of the Eggplant, they're all about these things. In the second, the times, a few years later, interesting about compositions, for the environmentals, because since I live in Australia for 4 years, first time come back to China's. In Beijing, I feel the soul pollution in Beijing, and that's why our comparison for 2 countries. Australia is so clean, blue sky, and shining, and I think I should do some environmental things. And I did some series like rural creatures and the dodos, about concerned about environmental things. And in the third period, I'm concerned about Australian political things. Yeah, another times is many news happened about like a refugee migration and some things, and yeah, as a concern also I did a lot of the yeah the refugee boat series or something. Yeah, the biggest one showing the Museum of Contemporary Art 2013, I think. Yeah, I did a large mural paintings. Yeah, that's in the front of the Museum of the Contemporary Art. In the fourth for the period, interesting about Australian histories. Yeah, I did a big painting and installation show in the Powerhouse Museum, and yeah, I make the whole the fake museum in there. Yeah, later I will be folks talking about these exhibitions. And I have very big habit, you know. Yeah, in this is different fall period, although Australian media, yeah, gave me the different titles, like firstly, like a Chinese artist, yeah, Chinese Australian artist, and Australian Chinese artist, and finally called me like an Australian artist. That's interesting because in the 1999, is my big years for my art careers. I was lucky. I think I was the first Australian artist. I had a big solo show in the Museum of Contemporary Art. The same years also I had another installation work show in the third Asia Pacific Triennials. Yeah, I think you know this change the reflects of the recognition for my double identities and my integration into Australian cultures. Having seen the recognition of my many years effort and artistic practice, I feel very pleased. Yeah, next time I will be talking about some Asia Pacific Triennial, some very important works, also this Asian background artists. Yeah, this firstly, yeah, this Japanese artist called Shino Toya. Yeah, I think he's very important Japanese sculptors, and this work called Wood 3. Yeah, Wood 3. Here you can look. This is like the jungles. You know, it's many trees, but this tree is very damaged. Yeah, this wooden post burned them and pressed them and yeah, colored them. Yeah, the work consists of 30 wooden, yeah, carved posts arranged in the square, yeah, like square formation. So this look like a forest destroyed, yeah, like a forest very strong destroyed. And when I saw this work in the current art galleries, yeah, it gave me very strong, you know, feelings, yeah, touch your heart. Yeah, finally this work, you know, in the collected by the Queensland art galleries. Yeah, this is one important the work shown in the Queensland art gallery in the first Asia Pacific Triennials. Yeah, this work. Yeah, this artist called Mountain Boma is the Thailand famous sculptors. I think I just heard, yeah, he just passed away a couple years before. Yeah, this work also is very interesting. This title called Lotus Sound. Yeah, Lotus Sound. Yeah, this work, you know, they use like 100 of terracotta bell installed in the carved wall like formation. The lotus is the symbolic flower in the Buddhism, associated with birth and enlightenment of the Buddha. Yeah, this composition also incorporates sound. Yeah, they have the music sound. You know, yeah, this is visual and the sound together, which bridge a sense of the interpeace to the viewers, to the audience. The work also offers the way of thinking about what like contemporary art. Yeah, there's a different way of thinking what like contemporary art. Yeah, this work also so impressed while I was looking this work. Yeah, this one is a very famous one. Yeah, I think everyone maybe know this artist. His Chinese name called Sun Shanglong. Yeah, in the Japanese called Takeshi Murakami. Yeah, maybe my pronunciation not quite correct. Anyway, yeah, this work, yeah, like a big balloon, a big balloon. Yeah, also this show in the second Asia Pacific Triennial in the 1996. Yeah, and in that time he just emerged, like wasn't widely known yet. Yeah, he just beginning not so popular. Yeah, not but now he's very like the superstar. But in that time, yeah, just beginning his art careers. But his work, figure like a cartoon figures called Mr. B.O.B. Yeah, B.O.B. It was a combination of Japanese pop culture and American Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Mickey Mouse. And yeah, this work, yeah, including like this Mr. D.O.B. Yeah, this is like a balloon, floating over the Queensland Art Galleries, the up, in the sky. And yeah, it's very strong eye passion and full of the presence. Yeah, this is the Japanese artist. Yeah, like next one I like talking with my friend, ASEAN's work. Yeah, this porcelain ceramicers. Yeah. ASEAN also is the Chinese Australian artist. Yeah, his work called China. Yeah, China also another means is ceramic porcelain. This the strong sense of the identity just from these titles. Yeah, ASEAN, ASEAN is drawing the like a third Asia Pacific Triennial. Yeah, this work show in the third time in 1999, showing in the group, porcelain busters. This is in the group like a five together, and each buster is cased from his living models. Yeah, you can see this all is his families, his brother, his wife, and his friends. And after like this clay, he used hand painting Chinese traditional landscape. It's very beautiful there. And after that, faired into the porcelain. Yeah, this work, embodied the relation of two cultures, Eastern, Western, old and new. I think after ASEAN, this work showing the third Asia Pacific triennials. And later on, many artists, follow his styles in China, also in some other place. Yeah, this work is very important in the third Asia Pacific triennials, and it's very strong and powerful. Yes, this is my works. They're called Little Feng Shui, Feng Shui. Yeah, also this work show it third Asia Pacific triennials, yeah, in the 1990s. Yeah, this work also explored about the relationship between human beings and environmentals. Yeah, and yeah, this work is quite, you can look, this very unusual because yeah, this is the like 3Ds, in the cubes shown in this the place. Yeah, upon the one of the sky, on the sky, yeah, and the surrounding you can look, there's airs in there. Yeah, the four corner has the god or the boy, blew the airs, around on the the skies. But you're looking, this has the four in the middle, this the I Ching Ba Gua, this has a symbol like water and sky and air or something. But you look at this one, because this is the together, one in the top, this is one in the bottom. Yeah, this yeah, the Earth, this city is the Brisbane, just focus on the Brisbane. This another I Ching Ba Gua, this in the corners, yeah, in the corner, yeah, another in the middle, it's just the compared together. Yeah, this is for the boys. They pollute the water on. Yeah, and yeah, surrounding has water, tadpole in there, and some the grass in there. Yeah, they also on this three walls in the middle of the Chinese scroll. Yeah, this talking about Brisbane area for the geographies. Now this one. Oh, just this one. This is not water. And okay, anyway, yeah. Also, in another part has water, and another part has sky constellation. Yeah, it has three scholars. Yeah, I don't know. This some the picture is gone. Anyway, but today I'm not always talking about this feng shui because I like talking. Yeah, this is the work, not the history. A few years later, in 2006. Yeah, I had the chance, to show my whole this work called Another History. Yeah, I think after 2 years, hard work, in the preparation, the Powerhouse Museum in Sydney finally held my large-scale painting installation exhibition in October 2006. And Claire Robert is my curator. And we together working long time, because, in the museum, this is the fake museum, not real, it's art, the real things. The museum, they doesn't, first gave me the chance. But we working hard, finally, yeah, we show there. And I bring my teams. Yeah, my team has four my friend artists, just myself and 5 people. We spend 1 month. Yeah, spent 1 month, and totally we did 9 murals. Yeah, 9 mural paintings. Yeah, I remember, in the morning. Yeah, we just quietly to painting there, but in the afternoon, the gallery is open. Audience can come in the room to looking what we doing there. They open in the afternoon. Yeah, it's a very hard working there, and yeah, if now I remember, it's still very interesting there. Anyway, yeah, the Zhenghe, yeah, is Ming Dynasty. Yeah, Zhenghe is very famous settlers. I think he did 7 villages of the Western Oceans, and between 1405 and 1433, he made a very remarkable discovery. Also, yeah, of the Australians. Yeah, he's very interesting, the guy, and yeah. But what the reason, for like do this work, and yeah, in the 14, yeah, I think in the 1405, Zhenghe was ordered by the Yongle Emperor, the Ming Dynasty, to lead him first expedition, which consists of the large fleet of the 317 ships and more than 27,000 peoples. And yeah, for the list the middle works, this Zhenghe is a big ship, on the earth. But you look in the beside another small one. This Columbus, the ships. You can comparison how the different, because this Zhenghe is a big fleet, yeah, and Columbus only flew some the boat. But Columbus discovered the South Americans, yeah. But Zhenghe had another different stories anyway, and yeah, I think he's traveled like 190,000 nautical miles, equivalent like going around the Earth more than 3 times. Yeah, Zhenghe, earlier than the Columbus, for the 87 years, yeah, earlier than the Columbus discovered American, and 92 years earlier than the Gamma. and 119 years earlier than the Magellan arrived to the Philippines. Zheng He discovery of the Australian was also 350 years earlier than the Captain Cook. It's a very long time, But interesting thing is, why did his expedition suddenly stopped after the 28 years? It stopped. And why was such a remarkable achievement forgotten by the later generations? Yeah, after Zheng He 28 years, discovered the global or something suddenly stopped and also disappeared. Nobody can remember him. Yeah, this is in China history is a very mysterious, very interesting things. Anyway, I think in the 2002, I read the article introducing Gavin Munsey. He's a retired British Navy officer. Munsey put forward a point of view. He believed that Zheng He first discovered Africa and American and Australia. In his book, later he had a book, a very big, thick book called 1421, the year Chinese discovered the world. The claim that Zheng He had set foot on the land of Australia 600 years ago. He also used a nautical map, and he found a compass and several unearthed cultural relics to prove his claim. What I found interesting is whether a few cultural relics and prove his claim and prove a period of history, how to interpret and understand this cultural relics became so important issues. Yeah, this is very interesting because just the few cultural relics can be proved like very important some histories, like Zheng He, discovered Australia's. And I followed these ideas. I follow these ideas. I think I should make like art decoding and codings. When the expert for the field that given newly discovered culture relax, such as sculpture and ceramic, they are noisy and evaluate and categorize them, trying to dig and this secret code from these artifacts. They then encoding them into the large historical program that we human beings have formulated. These artifacts are then put on the display in the museum for the people to appreciate. They just reorganize and put museum. When the audience looking again, they're so they're so shocked and admissions, they feel it's great or something, Anyway, and later I'm talking this this work, another history I make like three space, three space also in the three different the colors. First one, this they call the impure and unique. Because Zheng He is the unique. They have a long story, but I can't talking here because this, in the first part they always red colors. For this the middle they're talking about Jingnan battles. Because Yongle with his nephew had fighting, but his nephew is gone, and Yongle became the emperor, and the Zheng He fleet had another secret mission is look after his nephews. That's why it came out to the ocean. This is another mission. The big mission on the surface is just like for propaganda, Ming so strong and doing business, with other countries. But also have other secret things. Anyway, and this is the Yongle, Yongle in the, he's very important emperor in China. He moved the capital from Nanjing to the Beijing. He make a Gugong, and and this part is Zhenghe, Zhenghe, and with Yongle, with Yongle. You can look in the details, and in the second, in the second, the part, I make color in the blue, in the blue because they came to the oceans, this is called the treasure hunt and the sea chart. This is, this big blue mirrors. I just follow the Zhenghe's the map, to make these pictures. And you can look at bottom, this many black, this his Zhenghe's fleet. And on the oceans, this very many like monster and fish. Because you can thinking 600 years ago. That time you can imagine, under the water has a lot of the strange something like a monster or some things. This is like this mirror is quite a lot. This like 10 meters wide, 2.5 meters high. We spend a month finished. This is one the mirrors in the there. This is another mirrors. This and another interesting things. We borrowed many like Bilben. This is from the Australian Museum, like a emu and kangaroo and wombat. Make together. This also discovered like Australian. They looking kangaroo and emus in there. Interesting things, one of the person called Ma Huan. Ma Huan, he's like a journalist, hunter, and he like an interpreter, with Zhenghe, travel, for 3 times. He did a lot of drawing. He had one of the book called 赢牙胜览, 赢牙胜览. And this book is very interesting. On this book, like a diary or something, also many animals and people and the plants. Are just based on this the book, are creative the Australians animal and plant. I use the colors, the paper, you localize old papers. Follow the Chinese Shanghai Jing is another mountain and waters, the old books, the figures, and change to the Australian animals. That's why very enriched this exhibition looking is very interesting. And some audience asked, oh, what is the book like? This is real things. I think, I said, okay, this is real. And anyway, and I think this you can look at these little things in the middle of this glass box. This is a very important thing. I'll show you. This is called Shoulao. Shoulao. I think this also called the longevity, god of the longevities. This discovered in the Darwin in the 1859, I think. 1859. When the workers, to make the road, suddenly they discovered this Shoulao. And in this exhibition, interesting things, because they opened the collection, like me to use it. yeah, like furniture and ceramic and sculpture, big mural, yeah, just renamed, also reused, redeveloped, put in these exhibitions. Yeah, make exhibitions, yeah, narratives is very real, feel is very yeah, it's a multi and interesting. And yeah, for this this little longevity god, because looking for the Chinese longevity god is for Chinese traditional one of the book talking this longevity god is very first southern first the star, the constellation. I think, oh, this should be the Australian Southern Cross. Yeah, Southern Cross. Yeah, we're thinking when the Zhenghe plate sail in the northern hemisphere, they follow the big dippers. But they sail in the southern hemisphere, they use the god of longevity. Also, yeah, this Southern Cross. Yeah, the guide, yeah, yeah, in the South Globals. And yeah, this look in another one. Yeah, also, yeah, you can hear. Yeah, append this yeah, 这个寿老 is a god of longevity on the sky. This is another mirrors. Yeah, another mirrors talking about for the Zhenghe split discovered Australians. I think after the Zhenghe's later like gold rush, came follow the Zhenghe's footstep, came to Australia again. This is the third sections, put in the yellow colors. Yeah, there's a big murals talking about gold wash manners, working hard, to gold washers. And on this the boxes, this has like the another Chinese people, they play the instrument, and this the clothes, and also in the bottom it has many photograph. This photograph borrowed by the William Young, gave me his old families. Yeah, I borrowed from him. Yeah, and for these exhibitions. Yeah, as the migration artist, reinterpreting history from the new perspective, discovering aspects that others have never seen or unspoken, enrich the history of the Australian. In the meantime, it's also question and challenging so-called coded official version of history, which claimed the British discovered Australia. Yeah, challenging this idea. Not only the British, discovered Australians, and break and subverse this single ideology. Here you can see persuade release from the state thinking, encourage and free tips of the immigration to the certain extent. The exhibition Another History express my idea of mutual trust, communication, and harmonies existent between people and different race and ethnicity. As an artist of the migration background, moving around, going from the one place to another is the normal state. Now I'm very aware of my identity of migrant background. Representing the history of Australian, maybe my maybe on my designate missions. Yeah, maybe just my foreign nations. I need to find my pivot point, which means identity, position, and sense. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Guan Wei, for this very interesting talk, especially about your own work. This creating another alternative history. It's really fascinating. and with art. It's really visualize history in a very different way. That's quite interesting. We do have some time for Q&A, and so for anyone who have questions, please feel free. This is the golden opportunity to ask Dr. Guan Wei any questions that you have, whether you know Guan Wei or not, and you know of his work, just feel free to post your questions. I do see the first question, Dr. Guan Wei, it's asking 说你的那些展览的信息是在哪里能找得到？你做了那么多的展，信息在哪里找得到？
I think, yeah, on the Google and WeChat and some public, yeah, like some the galleries, books, and yeah, many different kind of the Google has a lot of the informations, and also the Baidu, yeah, for the Chinese for the Mandarins also has a lot of the information there too.
I share the question, the anonymous, the audience, the question, because I think the question is like where to find the total list, the whole list. Because Dr. Guan Wei doesn't have his own website, I don't think. So you don't have like a website that lists everything that you have exhibited. And so that's why, yeah, it's very hard. I mean, we have to search. And as I said, I searched for many days and got the list. Yeah.
Used to I has one of the website, but long time didn't exchange, just failed to this. And I think you can go into my galleries, represent me like Guan in Melbourne, yeah, Martin Brown, in the Sydney. Yeah, also you can email me to find my CV or something. So you can know more about my background or something. Yeah.
I think you do need to find the time to update your website and have all this updated information. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. So I ask first and then I get to the audience. I already see the questions are coming fast and thick. So your art is known for mixing Chinese elements and Australian ingredients, as we have seen, you have just shown us. How do you manage the balance?
Yeah, this I think this quite naturally, to keep the balance, A comparison my two part of my work, like when I did my work in China, also in Australia. Since I arrived to Australians, water in my works more and more. But in China, you look in my work, there's no water there. Later on, I make a big water, the whole big piece, all full of the water there. I always thinking Australia is a big island, surrounding is the waters. Yeah, I think environmental is very strong influence to the artist. Waters is the first the things important in my work. Also sky. Yeah, Australian sky is very clearly can looking the constellation star there. That's why I did a lot of the sky and the water, land, or some things. And but I use some Chinese traditional figures, like a cloud. This cloud I use the lens, to make this from Chinese traditional things. Now they became my paved images in my works. If you look in my many different series of the work, you still can look in the cloud is similar in there. Yeah. Anyway, also the Australian, sky and the water and the Chinese traditional technique and the figures. Yeah, I think quite naturally, to mix in my works. I'm not so, focused on I should make it together or something. Yeah, this quite naturally happened. Yeah, that's why if I'm not came to Australia, if I'm in China, if I'm in the European, maybe it's different, I think. Yeah.
It's a very good answer. Yes, so the natural, I think the natural is the key word. So rather than think, how much is this and how much is that? Yes, I think that's very important. Louise Guest said, I just want to thank you, Guan Wei, for this most interesting talk. That's from Louise Guest. Oh. And another question is your studio open to public to visit? 你的
Not really, really, not really. Sometimes you make a point that I can open, yeah, because most time I'm very concentrated, to my work. Yeah, I don't like so many interpreter, interrupt. I'm working there. Yeah, and but if you make an appointment, it's okay. Yeah, I can give you time there to show my work in my studio or something.
We have another question asking, what's your advice for new artists starting their career?
Oh.
Any advice for them?
Yeah, I think many people ask me these similar questions, give like a young artist some advice, and I think the different the artists have different ways, This is not easy to talking to the you must do this, you must do this. I think important things maybe for the young artists should be open the mind, and more to talking to the other people, so the looking many different exhibitions, to searching some what are your interesting things. Yeah, to practice your techniques also important. I think the ideas and the open mind is very important. Yeah, not so narrow mind, just do something you're interested. Yeah, you should thinking the globals and maybe universals, AI and chat GPT or something. Yeah, you must thinking widely. Yeah, this is very important for artists, I think.
I have my other question I can insert in before go on to the list. Because all your paintings have a very strong storyline, there is a narrative, so you have a story to tell. So my question is, do you think of audience when you do those paintings? In other words, do you really care whether your audience understand your story or not?
Yes, I very care about my audience, and I'll be thinking the space where the country, and if I'm doing this exhibition, for in China, I will be thinking China audience. If this show should be in Australia, I will be thinking the Australian audience. I think this is very important for myself. Yeah, make different stories. Yeah, in the China's market thinking for the China's situations and the problem and what they concern. In Australia, I'll be doing more Australians like history and political things and environmental things. I'm quite concerned about the audience, and also quite interesting the people how they created my works. Sometimes they can give me the fresh ideas. Yeah, maybe this might for my next way to create my works. Yeah, I think this is very important for me.
Well, this is very enlightening. Yeah, it's great to hear. Emily has a question. 她就问你说，澳大利亚的你作为一个移民组画家，澳大利亚的这个土壤，动物、植物，这个环境、海洋，对你的创作有一个什么样的影响？和这个中国的哲学的一个结合，你是怎么样做这个结合的？
Oh, okay. This is very little bit challenging questions.
It is a big question.
But I think Australia is very special. The animals are special, the plant is special because the old animals is they also has marsupial, and I think only Australia has this special animal. Even the close like New Zealand, they haven't the similar things. And for the geography and the special big island, they all totally different another continents. Are very pleased to interesting Australian geography and the culture. I think this is very special. I think, and I used Chinese like Buddhism and the Taoism, to philosophy, to thinking how these strange things happened in the Australias. I quite like thinking, this the treasure, for the artist to dig, use in the creative your works. Yeah, that's why you're looking my works. A lot of many strange animals and plants, and I quite enjoyable this. That's why I think I'm like library artist because I enjoy the images. Before I always stay in the images, but now I can use the pad in the computer to find many different. The images, from the Australian and also from the China, from other different countries. But I will be choice which are interesting and competition make together to create the interesting the works. This is very important, I think. Yeah, I don't know I answered this question or not.
Very good.
And,
Very good answer. Very good
yeah,
answer.
hopefully you can understand what I'm talking because my English is quite limited. Yeah,
No,
maybe
absolutely.
talking
Absolutely, very-
Chinese is better. Yeah. Anyway.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
You answered very well. And then your English is very clear, it's very articulate. We have a question from Professor Peter Hutchins. He used to be our Dean of School of Humanities and Communication Arts. So Peter's question is, has your artwork changed during your time in Australia? And how do you think you have responded to Australian art, especially Indigenous art?
Because for the artists, they not like doing just one thing, and yeah, for this yeah, few years are quite focus on the political things, Yeah, later I finished doing something or not like continue to this theme, I will be changed to some others. But I know some artists just like a whole life doing the same things, Yeah, but for myself, I like changing and do this thing, to the others. I'm quite interesting about reading things, I follow the new ideas and follow the new technology, science happened. And I think the important for myself, I like to, how to say, 开辟新的领域 how to say?
It's opens up a new area, going into new territories.
Yeah, something just like this. That's why I always changing my things, yeah, to discover the new field areas. And yeah, for my new works, I did yeah, trade ABT, it's AI phase, this is my new areas. Yeah, next time you can look at my works. Yeah, it's quite different. Yeah. And yeah, this is my way, to create my works. And also very respond of the Australian cultures. And I quite like indigenous. I've been living with indigenous artists together in 2006. I was been to the Amland in the Darwin. We're working together, living together. Yeah, very enjoyable about indigenous artists' work and the traditional ancient caves, the paintings. But I try to use them, the images in my works. But this yeah, this is not easy because they have some forbidden things, and yeah, I should be the most study about this carefully to use it. I think I will be for the long run dialogue with Aboriginal, indigenous artists. Yeah, maybe we can working together, share together. Yeah, maybe this is my next goals to do about it.
Excellent, excellent. We have a question from Vera Chun. 他说这个郑和有没有证据证明郑和来到过澳大利亚，特别是在澳大利亚的展或者是中国的展中有过这样的证据吗？如果有这样的展，他们的名字是什么？你知道？
I think while doing the Zhenghe's programs, so yeah, searched also in China because this I think yeah, this like 600 years anniversary for Zhenghe and the big exhibitions in the Chinese History Museum in the Tiananmen Square, yeah, there. And I've been there to looking, but they're not talking about Zhenghe discovered Australian and South Americans, yeah, but Zhenghe just came to the Africa, also Iran, Islam, this India something, yeah, India Ocean, this part. Yeah, I haven't, but only the book, by I mentioned is 1421, by the English retired officer, Navy officer is Mackenzie, yeah, he's just use this 寿劳, just this little sculptures. But this little sculpture still like important culture relics, in the Powerhouse Museum. And also he used one of the map, to prove Zhenghe discovered Australians. I think this very argument, some people just thinking, Zhenghe arrived to Australians. Some said this no. I think only for myself, I only know the exhibition in China. I didn't know in another place. I think maybe my second one, the show in the Powerhouse Museum. Yeah, this also, this is my, it's like an art, it's an art show, art, not only for history thing. Yeah, okay. Something.
Yeah, that's right. It is really alternative art. That's why it's called Other Histories.
Yeah.
Mackenzie's, the book is being actually questioned quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's right.
whether it's true or not is being
Mm.
criticized. Professor John Clark has a question.
Oh, wow.
Question is，就是澳大利亚的策展人对你的主题有没有影响？特别是他们对这个围绕中国的这种异国情调的感兴趣，所以他们这种策展方式对你的画画的这个主题内容有什么影响吗？
I think they still have some the influence, yeah, subtlety influence. Because like before they talking about postmodernism. Yeah, always thinking, yeah, how about postmodernism, and after this they talking about colonial, yeah, colonial 殖民文化, how to say?
Colonial
Yeah.
culture, yeah, colonial culture.
Yeah, colonial culturalism, yeah, also interesting. This followed something. I think I only followed in the ideas and the series, but the creative, my work, I will be to absorb, 吸引他们, in the my
attract or
in my work.
appeal.
Yeah, something like not exactly who is so strong influence to me, but I follow the series, to create my work, something like this.
Fang Xu has a question. Idea generation is the most challenging part of artistic. How do you manage to collect and interpret the collected resources and transform them into an art theme? 就是从这个收集的材料当中，然后你是怎么样收集和这个诠释，然后呢，把它们转化成为你的艺术主题。
Oh, this spend a lot of time. This is not easy, for this Zhenghe show. I prepared for 2 years, I collect a lot of the many the paper work and some the literatures, to do this. Yeah, finally, I think I chose like the 3 part of this exhibition just before I mentioned King and the Unique and the treasure hunt, second, and the third is God of longevities. Because it's I follow this Powerhouse Museum, they have this God of longevity in there. I just make these stories, like compares this Southern Cross with the God of longevity together, make the Zhenghe, discover the Australians. Yeah, this is my stories, to this point, because this museum has this little sculptures. Yeah, suddenly make the story with the Southern Cross. Because also for the import and the unique, this is not interesting, is the position, the point. And secondly, like a treasure hunt, the big like a Zhenghe's map, the monsters, and also the Ma Huan's the diaries, and some make the trend, the drawing animals and Australian the plants, Yeah, totally. On the visual part is important. I use the story, to like 串起来,
Bring them together.
Yeah, make
Bring
this
them together.
together something. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, not easy, but finally I made it. I think I can only make the one of it. Yeah, second one should be take another time to thinking what's the next project to do it.
Right. Dr. Fan Dongwang has a question asking you curating shows yourself, because you curate a lot of shows. Does curating shows itself help your own artwork?
Yeah, for the curator and the artist, this very different positions, Yeah, the artist, just enjoy and creative your own work or something. And for the curator, you must thinking how the relationship with the group of the artists there. You also should be thinking the theme, for this growth, the show there. I think this, but it's good, for the artists, doing the curator and doing your own artists, they can mix each other, give you the ideas more open, you can very high to watching, to looking, and influence your works, doing something interesting. Yeah, and that's why it's not like, doing the both of the job, I think.
Very good. And Dr. Claire McLean just had a comment saying that a very interesting cooperation of different traditions in your own way and with beautiful results. So she had made a comment. We have another question. A comment from Pauline Su. Thank you, Guan Wei. Love the historical, cultural, and environmental aspects of your work. And we have a question from Dr. David Cubby, and saying, Guan, my question is, are you familiar with the work of the Australian artist Tim Johnson?
Oh, Tim Johnson. Yeah, Tim Johnson is a very good artist. Yeah, also is a very good friend of mine. And before, yeah, the studio is very close. I think, yeah, he's very clever. Yeah, he used the, indigenous the technique, to make his artwork. Also, he used many Asian background, like Buddhas or something. Yeah, he also is a mix many different cultures created with his works. I think he's very clever, and I like his work. And also curated some exhibitions, first time including Tim Johnson. I think, yeah, because I like his work. Yeah, he's very good artist.
Yeah, because in one of the exhibitions at Willoughby City Council that
yes.
we curated, we actually have included Tim Johnson. So I know that Guan knows Johnson very well, and I know Johnson very well. He's a great artist. So one last question, because we run out of time. You can see so many people having questions for you. And this question from Dr. Shi Shuangyuan, which is the same question as I have. And 史双言老师说，关伟大师，您如何看待人工智能对绘画艺术的冲击？I have the same question, like how do you see AI like a ChatGPT have impact on art? And how actually do you use AI in your work?
Yeah, and I'm very concerned about this AI and ChatGPTs. A little bit scared, maybe, yeah, for the long run, the artists, should be the, like AI, to occupy this, the visual areas. And, but in the moment, I still can doing the work, AI doesn't quick developed so fast. Hopefully, yes, not so fast. But I use the ChatGPT sometimes to like tools, it's still like tools to help me to like writing something and to create some images. Because when you ask some question, give to the ChatGPT, they can give you some different ideas, But it's like one of the article, they just on the point. But after they give you some point, you yourself should be the rewriting and reorganize again. But yeah, I think this still is very strong and a good friend, like the course at the moment now. I don't know the future what happen. Maybe very scared. It's the return to the human beings. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
That's a very good answer. I think everyone is concerned, but also it's a very good point that you pointed out is we in the end make a decision. Human mind and human brain makes the final decision what we want and what we do not want. So I think as long as we always make the decision, and then we don't need to worry that we will be replaced by AI, because we will be able to use AI to do the work. I have to end here because it's 16 minutes past the time. And we can't thank you enough, Dr. Guan, for this wonderful talk, and especially for all these great answers that you give to us and the time you spared with us to answer all these questions. Many of these questions are people who have been wanting to ask you these questions. So Dr. Guan, thank you again for this wonderful inaugural lecture of IAC Art Talks. And thank you, audience, for your attendance, for your support to art, and for your support to the Institute for Australian Arts and Culture Centre at Western Sydney University. I just want to say that our next lecture, the second lecture of IAC Art Talks, will be given on the 11th of May by Dr. Louise Guest. So she's going to have a very interesting topic to talk about. So until then, thank you all and see you next time. Good evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.